All right,
Great.
good to go.
Okay. Welcome, everybody. I'd like to call the July 12th, 2023 meeting of the Salem Public Art Commission to order. Let me just go around the circle real quick and introduce ourselves. My name is Zach Hall, Commissioner and Chair of Salem Public Art Commission.
Susan Apak, Vice Chair.
Krista Lauer, Commissioner.
Okay.
Eduardo Diaz, Commissioner.
Keith Bondog-Wynn, staff.
And I'm Carol Snyder with Salem Parks Foundation, and I just want to listen in.
Great. Welcome, everybody. So Keith has let us know we don't have any public comment or guests today, so let's move on to approving the consent agenda for July 12th, the agenda for July 12th, and the minutes from the June 14th meeting. So I have so I'm making a motion to approve those two items. Does anyone second that?
Aye.
Great. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, great. Okay, moving on to discussion items. We're reviewing the action items from the June 14th meeting, which is the next two things on the agenda. Is that right, Keith?
Correct.
The status of proposed code change language. Enactment
Yes.
occurring on July 12th, so today.
Yes.
So 3-second reading or whatever, and on to.
Yep.
Right.
That one is ready. So I will contact Cherry City growers or Pacific Coast producers and let them know that they are free to apply for murals on their silos.
Wonderful.
Yep. So I will send that email today.
Advancement, Susan, for murals on curvilinear surfaces. It's exciting.
Yes, yay. Thank
Yep.
you to the Commissioner and Ms. Yoka for
Thank you. That's right.
getting that moving. Yeah, I was just curious, on one of the silos and the original thing that we saw, it had a big logo on it. And I was wondering how they're going to do. I'll be curious to see how they're going to deal with that.
Mhm. Well, we may remind them, or I will remind them during the application process of our guidelines.
Right.
And the logo, company logos are usually not pieces of the artwork.
But it would be maybe under sign code, that maybe one silo would be under sign
Could
code.
be.
Be a mural.
It could
We'll
be
keep
enough.
we'll keep those two issues siloed. Susan.
Sorry.
Sorry. Okay, SPAC vacancies. We still have 2, is that correct?
We have
One.
one, and that one is for a vacancy for community organization, I believe landscape architecture as well. Let me get the actual readings of it.
Is there at this point, is there any kind of process for trying to find that person other than us just kind of recommending or?
We really don't have like a headhunter kind of program. What it is really run by volunteers. So the city has a website, and anyone wishing to volunteer on any of the boards and commissions throughout the city can apply and then tick off what they're interested in. And the city manager's office sends me updates every month, and we have not yet received a new application interested in joining the Salem Public Arts Commission. And so that's why I make it a point to make an agenda item to remind the commissioners to maybe perhaps reach out to their networks for potential new candidates. So yeah.
Okay.
Is this something that could be included in the city email newsletter, like even a little blurb that says, hey, check out the commissions, even if it's just a general one, but maybe even more specific if we're starting to do posts from the commission. I think I saw something out there, Krista, I don't know if you were involved with that or not, that was something about the commission or the public art, that maybe there could be a little addition on there, like, hey, we're looking for somebody.
Yeah, they did. Someone did recently post about the art tour that we have, but that wasn't me. So
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, I think they're recirculating some information that they may have had from before. But the city of Salem does have a committee for boards and commissions, and they put out advertisements on their social media posts about vacancies, and it's a general posting saying, "Hey, volunteer for the city. Here are all the opportunities." So no specific ones, but like I just mentioned before, if we have a social media plan or a campaign, we can submit that to the communications team and have them execute it. And Krista and I made some progress in making the documents accessible. So I think we've hit that milestone.
Yeah, so I have access to everything I need now and have been starting to create that plan. So I have at this point, it's about 4 pages. So
Wow.
so just trying to be really thorough with it and just be really strategic and intentional about what we're doing and what we're trying to get out there in the world, and make it engaging, but also informational. And since this will be part of kind of a social media plan as well, making sure that we have some great artworks to go along with everything as well to pique people's interest. So I'm hoping to have that done by the end of this week, actually, so I can share that out with all of you once that's done. But my initial plan right now, Keith was able to share with me a social media plan that one of his colleagues had created and implemented. So I'm kind of using that as a baseline for what I'm creating, but essentially what I'm thinking is a monthly theme, and then within that theme, a weekly post that kind of goes along with that theme. So to really be kind of expansive, but not only just with the public. I know kind of one of the things we had talked about is a lot of people don't even know that we exist. So that would be part of it, as well as engaging people with the public art collection that we have. So yeah, I'm hoping to share that with you very soon.
sounds good.
Excellent.
Okay, so I don't know if promoting the SPAC vacancy is part of that outreach we're doing, that would be great. If anyone knows anyone, I'm trying to stretch my mind to landscape architects. It's not, I don't know if I know anyone who's a landscape architect off the top of my head, but
Yeah, it's experience in landscape architecture, real estate development, or community foundations.
real estate development. Okay.
So community organizations could be arts organizations too, right?
Mm-hmm. It says foundations.
Community foundations like OCF.
Right.
Okay.
I could reach out to them to see if there's anyone on their board or anything that might be interested in, or to Chris. I mean,
Yeah.
Darcy might know somebody.
Okay, thank you.
Subcommittee reports. The first one is me, Barbara, and I have done nothing in the last 2 weeks because I came back from a trip to New York City and got COVID. And,
Oh,
I have been digging, as did my children and my parents.
oh no.
The multi-generational COVID household over here. So I've been mostly napping and trying to dig out. So I'm sorry, I don't have anything to report there.
No worries.
I did communicate with Lee. I don't know, has he reached out to you or the convention center about picking up the drummer?
Mhm.
Is that already actually?
Yeah, it already happened. I assisted him not last Friday, but the Friday before. And he and his kid came up and loaded the drummer and the rooster up carefully into the bed of their pickup and drove off.
Awesome.
The convention staff really helped out. But then he is putting it in his studio, and then he went on vacation. So more to come from him.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Krista, I guess maybe you gave us the social media and outreach report there just a moment ago. Do you have more to say about what's going on?
No, I mean, like I said, I'm kind of trying to come up with a plan, and the plan's actually for a whole year. So really just trying to be pretty thorough with it from the onset, and then would obviously love all of your feedback on the different themes if you have different ideas. And then I'm proposing different artists to feature with each theme
Mm.
as well. And then an artwork as well. So yeah, so would love for you all to take a look. And then there is going to be one part where I do think it would be kind of fun if all of us chose one work too that we all really like. So that's a way for all of us to kind of be engaged too. But that doesn't have to be anything in the near future. That would just be something on the horizon, but a way to kind of get everybody in the commission involved as well.
Yeah. And if you want, we have a desktop publishing staff who can go out and take a picture of you and the artwork together, and you can introduce the artwork and yourself as commissioner. That would be pretty cool.
Yeah, that would be great.
Nice idea. Yeah.
Do the SPAC commissioner calendar.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Chris, I don't know if you're finished, but I just wanted to about these brochures that are great. I don't know if everybody has one of these or some of these or a stack of them or something that you could share with people. But I was wondering, Keith, are these like at Travel Salem and other strategic places, the Willamette Heritage Center, and
none of those external places I've delivered to. Right now they're actually handing them out, or they have available at our new customer service center at the Civic Center. I had made packets for all of the commissioners and left them at the city manager's office, and then no one picked them up, and so they said, Keith, come take them. So I have it at my desk. But if you send me your mailing address, I'll just have it mailed to you. I think that is the most efficient way of doing it.
Yeah, I have a bunch of them that, I bring to my neighborhood association meeting.
Yes.
Time. Not that there's always new people there, and there is going to be National Night Out.
Okay.
I don't know if anybody participates in that, but if you go and you're with your neighbors, you can always be obnoxious and kind of hand these out. But I really think they should be at Travel Salem and at Willamette Heritage Center. I did discover this brochure. I forget where I got it. It's called Experience Salem, and the city puts it out. And the public artworks, other than the Elsinore, the Eco Globe is on there, yes. But the Elsinore Theater mural, which is not part of the collection, is on here, but there's really no mention that I could find of the public art collection in here.
What year was it? Does it say
I don't
what
know,
year
but it doesn't have QR codes or anything, so it's probably not super recent. I don't see any kind of date on it, but if they do redo it, it might be, good to say, hey, you can at least put a QR code on there or something.
Okay. I'll look into Travel Salem and Willamette Heritage Center.
Okay. And I don't know who did this, but if they're going to update it, it's something that we should make sure there's a public art.
Do you think the Salem Public Library would be a spot?
Oh, that's right.
A library, yeah.
Sort of those portals of connection, people looking for,
over 55 plus.
Oh yeah, Center 50 plus.
Over 50, I guess. I was adding 5 years.
Okay, do.
Okay, great. That takes us to new business. Do you want to walk us through those, Keith?
Yes, this is just our fiscal year ended June 30th, so we are in a new fiscal year, and that caused a re-upping or renewal of agreements that we currently have. We currently have 2 agreements for contractors of record, and they're each up to $200,000. It's used for repair and maintenance of our collection. We haven't, so for instance, this is different pot of money than what Lee Immonen's maintenance is coming out of. So these are people on record that we can just call up and say, hey, we need a cleaning here or a restoration here.
And when you say up to $200,000, you mean that's what the contract is?
Yeah, we have 40,000 in our bank account.
I was like, that is a different pot of money.
And because it is within the city, other other departments can use it. So like parks can use our contract of record. So that's just an information for you all at the beginning of our fiscal.
So we don't have any action there. It's just an awareness
Nope.
thing. Okay. Good sense. We've been talking
Yes.
a minute.
Let me bring up good sense and the communication I received. Getting there. I'll share my screen. Does everyone see good sense? Okay. We received an email from a community member that states that the signage interrupts an important part of the message. In between the legs is an image of the bottle, and it should be free of any interruption. The bottle image is part of the sculpture. And it should, and it should be free of interruption. The bottom image is part of the sculpture. Could the sign be repositioned much lower and placed off to the side so as not to interfere with the sight lines? And I believe this falls under SPAC because we're responsible for citing pieces as well as the signage and labels. And I'm not sure how artists normally handle post-installation adjustments like this. So I'm interested to hear what you all have experience with.
I agree that it shouldn't be where it is. I never noticed it there, but also there's a lot of foliage around it, and I always drive past it really fast. And I'm like, where is it? Oh, so I never even noticed this sign there, and I just recently, I didn't know that much about the sculpture, so I just recently noticed that, oh, that's a bottle shape.
And the
I
negative
thought about
space,
it, and I understood what the sculpture is about. Now, seeing it like this, I'm a big proponent of having signage and even artist signatures and things like not be super prominent on the artwork or close to the artwork or in front of the artwork, any artwork, including paintings. So I don't know what's entailed to move it, but I tend to agree that if it's right there, which I never noticed before, it does impede the view of the full sculpture, including the base, because the base is part of the sculpture as well.
Yeah, I guess I tend to agree as well. I didn't, until that was called out, that sign does effectively block it to the point that I didn't realize that was a bottle either. Now, of course, I see it. How do we figure out what the cost is or the implications are of moving that thing around? Is it just unbolting?
Well,
is it sunk in concrete? Like, what is it?
Well, I'm not sure. And if you look at the top of the head, that is the debris that I plan to wash off. And so there is maintenance and cleaning on the agenda as well, because the stormwater department did hook up their water truck. So it's just a matter of me scheduling a time to go out there. And at that time of the cleaning, I was going to go ahead and take more photos and kind of evaluate what or how it's attached to it, and then perhaps send that to our facilities guys, because I know that they do a lot of good work for a fraction of the cost if we were to contract it out to someone else. So if that is the wish of the commission, I can go ahead and work on that.
Yeah, I agree with everything that they said.
And I would also add that in the future, when there is something that comes up like that, signage or whatever, that it be brought before, that someone from the commission maybe be, contacted to say, hey, where do you think this should go? So that they don't just put it where they think. I mean, I had that one issue with putting up signage in our neighborhood where I thought they were going to contact me about where to put these little heritage signs, and they just kind of, Public Works put them up. I mean, I'm really glad they got up, but they were not in the right place. So it's nice, if they, I know they have a lot of work to do and they need to do it in a specific amount of time, and they just sort of use their judgment. But when it comes to things that are like this, that, maybe they should confer with people other than their staff.
Mhm.
When are you gonna clean it? Do you need backup?
I think I got it, to tell the truth. It'll just be me and the truck operator. And it's like washing a car, I think. It's a soft bristled brush in a telescoping reach. And it was, I believe, part of the maintenance plan for just brush and water.
Okay, good.
Okay. Next on the agenda.
What are
Oh,
the-
the black discs. Let's see where is it?
those ones that are kind of falling over, like,
Let me get the message going here. There we go.
oh yeah, it does look like it could use some attention.
Yeah,
Maybe-
and
Yeah.
so the message I received from the public member or resident said that the artist wanted to go ahead and clean the item itself, but the emailer said that they reminded them that all art is now the city's property and responsibility of maintenance. And so should I engage the ARG group or try to maintain it ourselves with a brush and some water?
So the artist is offered to clean it themselves.
Yes, let me read the message.
I mean, I don't want to take advantage of that person. On the other hand, I don't know that, would we object to the artist cleaning their own artwork?
Actually, might be preferable since they
Yeah.
know the material, and
That's kind of what I was thinking, like.
I mean,
If
like if one of us would be present, or Keith, if you would need
Yeah.
to be present with that, I think that would be completely fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
So shall we engage the artist then and see, and
Yeah.
I can have people and the artist could instruct us to do it. It might be a liability issue, is what I'm thinking, because it is, on uneven ground with water. And it was, donated back in 72. So I just want to make sure that everyone is safe,
Understood.
Okay. So I will reach out and see how we can engage the artist in the proper cleaning of the art piece, the artwork.
who is the artist?
William Roy.
Did Krista say that?
Yeah.
That's awesome. She knows the database already.
I've been deep in it.
Like, we can do flashcards, like this one.
It's like a labyrinth. I don't know how. Oh my goodness.
And that's at the Civic Center, is that? where
It's in
that-
the Beaver Pond.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
Excellent. Okay. The last one on the agenda, I believe. Nope. That's all I have. There was one more that I didn't add. I'd like to add now. And maybe you can help me with this, Commissioner. This is an email that this was attached to an email that Chris Darcy sent us regarding the 3 wall faces that Deacon Construction or Development is putting together. And this is the former Macy's or
Nordstrom.
Nordstrom. Yeah, this is downtown. And so there might be some opportunity for public art here or a public-private partnership, because this is public or private space. So more to come.
Okay. Is that an interior courtyard? Is that what that is?
Yes.
Who owns that building?
Deacon develop, 1 second. I have it in my emails. I'm not sure, but I believe it's Deacon.
Is it worth reaching out to them and saying, hey, you know, this would be a great place for a mural, and if you'd like to pursue that, we're open to hearing or and working with you and encouraging it somehow? I mean, is there some action that we can take?
Fast track pre-approval.
I would have to refer to the email that the introductory email that Chris sent to Commissioner Hall and I, and perhaps we can develop a response to that, encouraging them to keep our mural program in mind, or maybe there's something additional, because murals are for 7 years. And then maybe in this case, you might want to explore temporary installations, light installations. I'm not sure what they have planned for that space.
So yeah, I found the email. Deacon Development, the developer of Riverbend, the residential project on the former Nordstrom site in downtown Salem. And then Chris has made an introduction to the development managers. That's a 150 unit rental project with a large interior landscaped courtyard. Deacon envisions the site with a mural. And then I think she suggested that you send Dana and Annie the information to observe the SPAC meeting. So I think we can, let's talk, Keith. I'm happy to respond directly.
Okay.
This and invite them to a conversation about, that space. And so
Very nice.
let's give that action item to me. I'll write that through it.
Okay. Am I still sharing my screen?
Yes, you are.
Okay. Oops. Oh. Okay. What's next? Okay. Yeah. I'm sorry, Susan, you were mentioning you wanted more information on the mural in an alley, and I'm trying to find that email.
And we were also gonna discuss that task force about
Correct.
the application process.
Yeah. So let me get this out there. Just trying to hide some information. It's a little challenging on live stream. Okay. Their screen. Okay. Can you see my screen
Mhm.
Yes.
with the mural?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. So this one is located in the alley at 1380. I met with the business owner on this site, and this building actually
I'm sorry,
extends.
where is it? 1380 where?
I'm sorry, 1380 Madison Street Northeast. There's no official application, but he is the individual that said he was having a hard time and just wanted to talk to somebody. So I met with him on site. The building extends further to the left, and it's currently unpainted. And I don't have a good picture at this time, but he said it was a collaboration with 3 different artists, and it was stopped on, after the first day, so it was not able to be finished. He said he had plans to paint the other parts of the wall, that was unpainted, but decided, because there is a process. I explained to him the process, and he was daunted by it. He owns, his own business, and said he doesn't have time. But I mentioned that, this is a public process, and the more information that you provide to us in the application, the better it is for the commission, because they'll have more information. I explained to him that there is a public process, a public hearing, once the application is submitted, and that, gives the community 30 days to provide information or feedback. He said all of the neighbors supported the painting. He talked to all the neighbors of businesses, but then I received an email from an adjacent property owner right on the alley that share the alley, and said that they're against this illegal painting. And they said that it's gang related. And I talked to, when I was talking to the artist, one of the artists, and the owner, he said, no, he wanted the artist to paint this. And so we, really had to find common ground. And so we said the best, way forward, if you want to go through the mirror process, is to, not proceed with painting the other part of his building. And he agreed, because it's not in good condition. It's flaking off. It would need to be maintained, and I said, you have to understand that there is a maintenance agreement, a 7 years or a 7-year easement, and that, the city will not provide assistance in the maintenance of it. It's all you. And one of the things that he said was that a lot of vagrants and homeless people go through, and a lot of garbage and feces and whatnot. And he is hoping that a mural will help reduce that. But I told him that just because there's a mural, the city is not going to maintain that piece of the alley for which you're responsible for. And so I think that there's other issues at play in terms of the interest. But yeah, his interest is reducing the amount of graffiti that he has to deal with, because there's other structures along that alley that does get tagged, and he, he feels responsible for cleaning it up. So I said, in order to continue with the process, if you want to apply for the mural, you will need to show the commission the end product, what it will look like. And he was a little hesitant about that. He said, it's an artistic piece, and my artists come in and they collaborate at that time. It's not something that you can just design and put up, which is different than what Pacific Coast Producers showed us, and so I'm trying to figure out, how do we navigate this? And so what I said was, I think the most basic way of moving forward is taking a photo of the existing, mural, and then working with the artist to add a rendering of what you plan to have, and that's what you would submit as an application. And then the homeowner sent a follow-up email saying, that's gang graffiti. And I'm like, I cannot tell what's gang or what's not. And so maybe Eddie can explain, but I said, this is what the homeowner and artist said it was supposed to look like. And then the emailer said, well, look at the yellow writing and the other writing, could that be additional graffiti? And so I emailed our graffiti abatement team to say, what are criteria that you use for, determining something is graffiti? And I looked it up, and it's, if a property owner does not want it, that's graffiti. Well, the property owner wants this. So what is it, So any enlightenment you guys can provide to me will help out.
Yeah, so pretty much, I believe his name's Evan, the property owner. So he pretty much just wanted to paint it. I looked at it before the project was started. And yeah, like I said, I mentioned it, but the artists on both sides, the ones that do the lettering, they work a lot with the Portland Street Art Alliance up in Portland. And they're like they have a really good reputation for mural work and whatnot. The middle artist, which he doesn't, he's not local from Portland or Salem, he comes from Hawaii, and he's very intense about, you know, like, it's art, why do we have to go through this process? There's really no kind of way of talking to him. But if like we have like a plan, I can talk to the two artists that did the lettering on the side, because they've worked with PSA before, and we could come up with a plan to like pretty much showcase what it is gonna look like. Because the artist that is pretty much convinced Evan and told them we're gonna do this regardless, the one that painted the centerpiece, there's really not gonna be any kind of talking to him. It's
I met with him. It was difficult.
Yeah.
And so it's very difficult. And it's his piece, you know, it's his work right there. And talking about it was very emotional. So I had to talk to Evan only in that situation. But I mean, knowing that these artists are from Portland, I mean, that's encouraging. You know, I didn't know who these artists were or their background. But the other part is it's in a residential area, you know, and our code is written so that only buildings in commercial, industrial, mixed use areas would be allowed. Well, you know, this is in an area where it's commercial, but it's right up against the residential. So what my plan is to, I stepped back and I was like, okay, there's a demand for art. There's a willingness, and there's a property owner and artists, and the process, you know, is complicated to some people. And I'm evaluating access, you know, how are we allowing people to have access to even apply for it? And so that's where that task force with the making the application a little easier would be beneficial in this situation. You know, what does the commission really need from these applicants to enforce, you know, our rules, our guidelines?
So I'm just thinking through the different issues that I'm hearing. We have now twice, maybe more than twice, retroactively approved art that people put up. And so and there's nothing in the code that prohibits us from doing that. So I don't know that pre-review of a design is a requirement, right? So I think there's, in my opinion anyway, there's a room to allow a creative process that is contemporaneous and collaborative. I can understand the visual reference to graffiti art, but this is clearly not gang graffiti, in my opinion. So when you say that the mural code is limited to commercial industrial areas, is that you know, what about the side of the residential building downtown that we've been talking about that had the cat mural proposal on it?
That was considered mixed use.
Mixed use, I see. So in this case, this neighborhood is
Residential. I would have to look it up, but
yeah.
with all intents and purposes, it's a residential abutting a commercial area.
And you said this is 1380 Madison Northeast.
Yes, let me get it for you.
So when I pull that up, I see the Athletic Edge.
Yep.
And a construction company. So I don't know what its actual zoning is, but there's a Zephyr. I don't know what this is, but it sure looks commercial or mixed use. So I guess I'm just saying, like, I'm not sure there's any no red flags are immediately leaping out at me, like why we couldn't consider such a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And
the only other thing that I witnessed was access. It is a dirt road, or not dirt, it's gravel, it's not
Oh,
paved.
I see, it's back behind Madison.
Yeah, it's back behind,
Alley, an alley.
yeah. And you
Nice.
can't even, like, the Google Maps don't even go in that alleyway.
Yeah, I'm trying to get back there right now and I can't.
Uh, this is kind of what it,
Oh, yeah. It's pretty,
tight.
pretty back in there, isn't it?
Yeah. You can see a portion from the head above off Jefferson Street.
Mhm.
Uh
So really, the only people that could see this thing are the residents, are the residential people.
fully.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
couldn't even step back to take a picture because I would be in their backyard. And the perspective from the alleyway, it's so large, you can't really see it. So that's something I will need to consider. What is the proper scale? But this is in facing a neighborhood. The big one in the mixed use, I didn't have to worry about something like that. So I
Yeah.
think the community testimony would have to.
Carry some weight.
Which neighborhood association is this? I don't think it's Grant. It might be, where is it? It's
Nah, I believe
maybe
it's,
is it Net? Is it, Nan or Highland?
let's see.
Because maybe it's something they could go to the neighborhood association with and say, hey, listen, we'd like to do this. I mean, it's too bad that they didn't do that before.
Hmm.
Just saying that there are people in my neighborhood association who are very anxious to be able to do things. Graffiti kind of thing with murals and cleanup and whatnot. And it seems like this would, if that ever happened, this would fit into that kind of a program if it was ever enacted in Salem.
Hmm.
And it's something that might be proposed in the near future. But because this is happening already, and it would really pain me to see them have to take this away. I think it's, the intention, if it, I think it really goes into this whole review of simplifying the application process, or maybe even having an alternate route. So I know in Portland, they do have two different, or last time I looked, two different mural processes. So they have one that's similar to ours, where it's a permanent site, and then they also have an alternate community mural. I think they call it unique mural program, which has its own set of, having to get buy-in from the neighbors in the neighborhood, and a certain, like our street program, our street painting program. And I think that is the only way that projects like this would be able to go forward, because they don't fit into our, really stringent mural program, which is a whole nother thing of trying to make it a little easier. But I think we need an alternate mural program, where things can be in the alleys, and they can, and a business owner can say, hey, I'd like to invite artists to paint a mural on the side of my building and have it up for a couple of years, and I'll take care of it. So, I don't know what to do about this piece. I would just hate to see it not be there. I mean, with one neighbor that said, what is the percentage? I know for the street murals, we had to get buy-in from a certain percentage of the neighbors. I mean, in our street painting, we did have one neighbor who said they didn't like the idea, but it was overruled by the majority of, or whatever percentage that we needed from the other neighbors to buy in. So I would think that would apply here too. If you get neighbors through the neighborhood association, or just going around door to door and saying, do you want this to stay?
it does feel sort of like, I agree, like the people who are in the best position to judge the relative benefits and burdens of it, right? Like, maybe I don't love the design, but I sure do like a mitigation strategy to reduce problems in the alley. Like, the people who really are going to care about that and know about it are the neighbors who live in that area. So it seems like they would have, like, the ongoing kind of idea that the city is owning this thing for 7 years, you know, that it is a little weird in these cases. So maybe there is a kind of third path that we could figure out how to, you know, talk to council.
Because I totally agree with you, Zach. Keith, is the idea that they were just going to continue to paint on that backside, or that it would also somehow wrap around the front? Because I think that is the biggest issue right now, right? It's not very public facing, so it feels strange for this to be part of the public art collection. It would make more sense if it was something that would wrap around the entire building.
He wants to wrap around, but he said he would like to do the backside first, but he did mention wrapping it around the sides because there's a catwalk, you know, up on top, and he said part of it could do it. And I said, you know, that's all fine and well, but you need to show us a plan. And I think that's where it kind of, he got stuck. You know, the first step is showing us what you think it would look like, and I guess wrangling the artists together to do something like that was a challenge. And I can only meet someone half, you know, so far. And I gave him the option of me giving him a call, and I read the question to him in the application, and he tells me, and I type it in. You know, I'm all about accessibility, but if you can't sit down with me to go over those, I don't know what else I can do in that situation. So more to come.
What did you, I'm sorry, just what did you recommend that you could reach out or something? What did you, sorry, I missed what you were
essentially he's having a hard time filling out the application.
no, Ed, I'm addressing this to Eddie, because I think you mentioned something.
Yeah, I mean, we could sit down and talk. I mean, I can talk to him. I have like his number. He was like, I think he just feels kind of weirded out by like the city like coming at him, and I think that's what probably caused it. And he probably got a hold of the lead artist, and he's like a whole nother case in itself. And but as like far as public comment or things like that, I can get with the other artists that have like a reputation in Portland with actual murals and good credibility, and we can create the finished concept and show it for public comment. And I can help him like fill out the application if he needs to, because I've like talked to him before, and he was just like, yeah, it's really cool. I just told him he should wait, and it just kind of did its thing. So yeah, it was just one of those things. But yeah, I can get with the other two artists, come up with like the final concept design. We can share it here at the next one and go on from there. And by then I'll talk to him and see, like, we even try to like fill out most of the things, because I've seen it. It's just kind of long. Like, it's just a lot of pages, but it's a lot of repetitive stuff. So it shouldn't be too hard, but I'm pretty sure when he sees it, it's kind of like, why? This is my building.
Exactly.
And I think, yeah, that's a lot of what a lot of people are kind of against, especially because he's like, it's in an alley. I guess the neighbors were even baking them pastries and stuff when they were painting. So it was like, it's a lot of weird mixed emotions. And
Yeah, and he's he's a business owner, so very independent and, you know, wary of regulation and whatnot. And he mentioned that, you know, even if if these group of people says no, he's gonna just do it anyway. It's his building. It's like, oh, how do I, you know, I'm trying to work, you know, under this, but you know, there are people feel a certain way.
Well, I think we're lucky that we have Eddie on the commission, because
Absolutely.
he is an artist who does this kind of work. He's worked with a lot of these artists, and he knows them, and the fact that he's volunteered to reach out to the owner and the artists and kind of maybe Keith, you and Eddie can work together. So maybe it wouldn't be the face of the city. It would be, Eddie as a commissioner, kind of working with them. That might make some headway and get, kind of smooth over some of the feelings the emotions that are going on, and kind of make it so that this mural can exist.
Mhm. I love that for the process part. I'm not sure how to take into consideration the public. It's literally not in my backyard, kind of feeling from someone who's opposed to what's going on, regardless of a design.
Well, then I think once it goes into the process, then they would write the letter, and we would consider the letter the way that we have in other murals, where we have positive and negative response. We had a negative response to the Dave's Hot Chicken as well. We approved it anyway. So I think once it goes through the process and we weigh the commissioners weigh all of the options, then it would, we'll see what happens. But I think it deserves to have that same process.
Agree.
If it can be done that way.
Okay.
I agree with that.
Thank you. That's
right.
all on my agenda.
So then add your task force to see if you can.
Yeah.
And I
I'll
think.
reach out to Evan.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I'll reach out to Evan and just kind of like try to smooth things over. And yeah, we can go from there. I'm pretty sure he's gonna be like up for it. He's just like needs help. Pretty much somebody to just like hold his hand through the whole process. I understand, and it's one of those like nobody's gonna tell me what to do on my property kind of thing. So
I think that for our purposes, that feeling is kind of irrelevant. You know what I mean? Like that's a whole nother. Like if he goes through the process and it gets denied and then he refuses to take it down, that's a whole nother. There's a whole other process for that. So I don't think we have to. I understand that emotion, but I think we should just stick with what we can do, which is try to facilitate, try to help him, try to get it approved, and then that would be an issue.
Absolutely.
And if it is an
Keith,
issue,
were you able to give him the packet, the application packet or anything, or was he just gonna do it online?
I emailed it to him, so he has it in his email box. I didn't print it out, but that's a good point. I'll print one out and deliver it to him. Or
actually, can you just email that to me and then I'll print it out, and I can go over there.
Sure. I'll send it out to everyone, so we can, I'll take a look at it with fresh eyes, to see about the accessibility, because even there's one piece on there about 13 printed copies. I don't need 13 printed copies. So even I have some changes to it.
Yeah, and I'd like to take a look at it and see, we've talked about simplifying that process. I don't know if we'd have to work with the lawyers. I mean, who put together that process? Was it the lawyers? Was it the staff? I mean,
that's some homework I have to do now.
Yeah, because if we could start with that, like, who would we have to work with in the city to amend it? And what things we can touch and what things we can't touch. I mean, they may say, oh, no, you can't have the 7 years because that's what we came up with. It has to be 7 years. But maybe they'll say, it doesn't have to be 7 years. It can be 4 years.
Yeah.
At least we can do that. And then the whole easement thing probably is more of a legal thing. But if you could kind of parse it out a bit.
Okay.
And take a look at that process and see if maybe there's something we can do. And I'll do a little research also on the Portland alternate process, that their unique program. And I think some other cities also have other programs that are like that. And I'll try to do a little research on that too.
Okay.
Great. Okay. well, if we don't have any, is there any other comments or issues to talk about today? All right, well, hearing none.
I have one question.
Susan?
Why are we not meeting in person anymore?
I think that was just, we just did it to do it. I mean, no one's raised the issue. Do you want to meet in person every time?
Well, I don't know. We were meeting in person, then I guess what happened was because we had visitors. Then it
Mhm.
went back to Zoom. And then it seems to continue on Zoom. I was just wondering why?
Yeah.
I've gotten used to meeting on Zoom, so it works for me, but meeting in person
Yeah,
works
it's fine with me.
too.
It just seemed people were enthusiastic about meeting in person, but maybe can we meet in person like every few months or something, maybe?
Yeah, didn't we talk about doing it like once a quarter or something?
I think that makes sense.
Yeah,
Quarterly?
yeah, I think that would be nice.
Okay. When would you like to? I'm excited for this fall because the Public Works building will be up and running with the 2 new artworks that SPAC worked on. Maybe after it gets installed, that could be one of our meeting sites.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
right
Yeah,
around the
Did
corner.
you ever hear back from PGE about the walls by the Gilbert houses?
No, I did not get in contact with them yet. I was waiting for word on the grant to see if we're gonna get it, but I think I'm just gonna go ahead and ask them anyway. Did you have some ideas on that, Eduardo?
I mean, I pretty much just went to an event 2 days ago with a lot of the people that do the mural work for Portland Street Art Alliance, and they would like definitely like a spot like
Okay.
to come down here and just like, and they'll have concepts and everything for it, or at least like a section of it, because they were super excited that I was like, yeah, Salem's like, we're gonna get there, it's just gonna take a little bit longer.
Yeah. Well, when I solicited the letter or got the letter from the executive director of the Gilbert House Chosen Museum, she said that she has a contact with PGE that established the mosaics there. So I will follow up with that and keep you posted on it.
Awesome, thank you.
When do we expect to hear about the grant?
It says fall as well. Capital F, so we'll see.
And when Kate, when is that building at this point expected to, the Public Works building? When's that gonna open?
I've been here October.
Okay, so July. Is an October meeting there realistic? Do folks want to meet in person sooner than that? I'm sort of agnostic. Yeah.
I don't mind. I just need to what's that called? Post the meeting 30 days in advance, so people know whether it's in public or whether it's Zoom or in person. And I can schedule the training room like we had done last time as well.
We
So
did talk about inviting the new
oh yeah.
assistant city manager to one of our meetings too at some point, but I don't know, maybe whether that would be better on Zoom for them or whether it would be better in person.
I can follow up and check if that will make a difference.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Then that might be, if he would prefer to meet in person, then that could be a good motivator for us to do that.
Okay.
And then let's try and do the October meeting at that new building. I don't want to push them if they're gonna do it. You have to be done by October because we're coming.
Well, let me check with Alan Dannon. How about this? We'll have Alan Dannon at our next meeting. He's the engineer responsible for well, he's now the city engineer. He was promoted, but responsible for that project. And he can give us a heads up on when the art pieces will be installed, as well as when we can have our first meeting in there.
I think they were talking about having some event too, when, not only the opening, but also with the artists.
Correct.
kind of do that too. So that might be a separate thing than a meeting, but
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Well, thanks, everybody.
thanks.
Yeah.
All right.
See everybody.
See y'all next month.
Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Meeting adjourned at 3:34.